Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie Jane. If you are new to these videos and you're new to my channel, please stop what you're doing, go back in the beginning of my playlist, which is the life path number playlist, and watch my how to calculate your life path number video, as well as how to interpret your life path video, so that what I'm about to tell you has some context and you understand what's going on. In the last video, we talked about the 7 life paths, and the title for the 7 was the Faith Seeker. The title for today's video, which is the 8th life path, is the Executive. The 8th life path is here to establish financial security and to master the challenges that come with being in this physical world. Now, as with the nature of a physical world like our own, there is an energy of polarity associated with the 8. And what this means for the person who has this life path is that they will most likely experience ups and downs in life. You have the potential to experience immense success as well as immense failure. And there's a good side and a bad side to all of this, and there's a lot to talk about when you have an experience like this, when you have this kind of path to walk down on Earth. Because of this huge spectrum of potentially things going very well or things going very bad, it means that your life will kind of go back and forth. And so one day you're going to lose $100, and then another day you're going to somehow find $100. At the end of the day, it's all going to work out. So I just want to make that clear. Like, don't freak out if you're in a life path. If you are in a good place and are worried about things turning very bad. The thing about the 8 life path is that you are blessed because no matter what adversity you are facing, you have the ability to rise above. And this is where the title Executive comes in, because you're here to make major decisions in your life. You're here to step up to the plate and say, this is what I want for myself and this is what I'm going to make for myself, especially when you find yourself in these dark places, especially when you've had something extremely traumatic happen to you, or when you're struggling with some aspect of your life. It could be anything, and you step up to the plate and you decide no. And unfortunately, there's many ways that the 8 can express through their shadow, but one of the ways that they can is that they fall into a victim mentality. When they do experience the lows in life, they will get stuck there because they will be in a place where they think everything bad happens to them and it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter what anyone does, etc. And when you're in this place, you cannot get past it. You are not stepping up in the way that the executive should. So you stay there. And it's very unfortunate because you have so much potential. Now, a lot of the times, I think the 8 can experience lots of financial ups and downs, but it doesn't have to. You could lose your status at your job or your family or something. You could go from being very popular to very unpopular. You could go from being in an amazing relationship to being in a terrible one. It's just anything is possible, essentially. A good example of an 8 life path in this type of polarity scenario is Louis C.K., who is a comedian and is unfortunately now very popular because of what he did and what he has been accused of doing. And so he went from being this very successful comedian with a clean slate or a clean, I guess, perception from society to, being, unfortunately, this person who has committed terrible acts. And so that can happen to an 8. You could, be a celebrity, for example, and be highly revered, and then suddenly something leaks out or something happens about what you did or who you are, and then all of a sudden you lose that. However, Louis C.K. and all these 8 life paths, like I said before, do have the potential more than anyone to come back, do a complete 180, to somehow fix it and come back with even better status, even more money, even more success, whatever success looks like to you. And yeah, that's the main thing I also want to get at. Success is going to look like something completely different for everyone. I'm just talking about financial matters because the 8 is a very physical number, as I've said before, so that's the immediate example that I go to. So because the 8 life path is meant to be this person who steps up to the plate and makes major decisions, they have a business-like persona. And so they can often be mistaken as someone who is unapproachable, especially if they have an 8 birthday as well, or another 8 in their chart, and that's like a prominent energy about them. Of course, this is not the case. So this is just what people sense when you take that kind of responsibility over your life and possibly over others if you are a CEO or something of that nature. So also due to the business-like nature of the 8, it is possible for them to become a workaholic. They may just thoroughly love work and have a healthy relationship with that aspect of their life and are in balance, and so they don't overwork and just enjoy having a career, and that's it. But some 8 life paths will push their bodies to the limit, and my advice to you is don't do that. Similar to the 2, you have the potential to become very sick a lot of the time, or to have something bad happen to you physically, which makes sense because of what I said in the beginning of the video. This is a very physical number. You have, right, this large spectrum of potential of things going very well or going very badly. And so this means that you have to be careful of your health. You cannot overwork yourself, no matter how much you want to succeed or how much you love your job. You're a human being, and you're going to need to set limits for yourself. But, of course, when you're a healthy 8 life path and you're not overworking, this is a great attribute to have. It really is. It will help you get towards success. So don't mistake what I'm saying about this as something that you shouldn't do. It's not like you shouldn't be working very hard every day. I'm just trying to set some boundaries for you in case you don't have any. So I'm going to go into some shadow aspects of the 8 and then explain what a healthy 8 does. When the 8 is in that extreme part of their shadow where they have a victim mentality, they can fall into extreme paranoia, thinking that everything is dangerous, just live in fear completely, to the point where they don't even want to leave their house. I think that the 8 has extreme potential to become a hoarder, as it is such a physical number, and they enjoy having things. But there's no numbers for psychosis. There's no number that's oh, that guy's a child pornographer, or oh, that guy likes to steal from banks. I just want to make it clear that in numerology it doesn't happen like that. You can be any life path and be a hoarder. But I think that out of all of the numbers, the 8 has extreme potential. An 8 life path that's in their shadow will be an overspender. They will just want to acquire a lot of stuff because they get high from buying stuff. They will confuse quality for quantity. They will think that it's good to have a lot of stuff rather than fewer things that are very nice. Now, the 8 can be the complete opposite of that. They could potentially refuse to take an authoritative role in their life and have complete disregard for their possessions and their career and their anything, really. They might acquire a nice car, which they have the potential to do because of the nature of their number, through luck or, life happenstance. through life chance and not take care of it and have it completely go to waste, and the interior of the car becomes completely dirty and the engine isn't running anymore, etc. And it could just be a situation where they have a house and they don't pay any attention to the upkeep of the house, and they live in this house as it is literally decaying around them. That is like the opposite side of the spectrum shadow that they could express through. It's it's interesting how one can have their house falling around them and a person just completely ignore it and refuse to take an authoritative role and take responsibility and make decisions that will give them the quality of life that they deserve. That's the thing. It's like if you have nice things, appreciate it by taking care of it. And I've seen 8 shadows not do that, and they were lucky enough to have someone give them a car or pay their rent or something, and then it turns to shit, and it pisses me off actually. For all of us who work so hard to get anything in life, and then a person, like the 8, stuff kind of just falls into their lap half the time, and they take it for granted and they don't really care about it. So what does a healthy 8 do? The healthy 8 will appreciate the quality of all things in life. It's quite possible they will enjoy the finer things, like gourmet food, going wine tasting, having a nice car, having a nice clean house to live in, etc. They will have gratitude for the things that they enjoy and for the things that they have. And they will take care of their possessions and make sure that it does not go to waste. As mentioned before, they will also not overspend. They will not confuse quality for quantity and not be a mindless spender, but really just appreciate what they have in their life, and they probably do have a lot to be thankful for. Going back to the shadow for a bit, the 8 can also be very verbally abusive, because that's like when you take the executive role a little bit too far and you just start barking orders at people. So if you're that kind of person, just remember, you're not here to manage other people's lives, you're just here to manage your own. And that might put you in a position where you do become a CEO of a major company or something like that, and you do have to manage people, because that's a part of the life that you created for yourself. But that's a work environment and it's different. So don't try to control your family members. Don't try to tell them what to do and bark orders at them and become very bitter and emotionally distant. They love you, and if you want to, that's another physical thing in our life. It's our relationships, and if you want to have positive relationships in your life, you have to work on yourself. Because the 8 has had to deal with this polarity existence their whole life, they can develop a kind of black and white mind frame, and that try to apply that to others. And so my advice in that case is to be very careful about how you communicate with others, because the world is not black and white. There is a very gray area, and if you want to consider other people's feelings and perspectives, you can't just be so polar. You can't be so dualistic. It's not accurate. This might be the first time that this has ever been said to you, because I do think that a lot of people, when they go through intense life experiences and have this kind of life where things are up and down, it's so hard for you to see the world as it is. And so you possibly might have some distortions in other areas of life. Like, I knew an 8 who was basically the opposite of a humanitarian, really did not want to help the world in any way, because it's like, what should I do for the world? It doesn't do anything for me. This person also didn't think that what they did made a difference, because like most people, they thought, well, everyone else is not doing this, so what is one person going to do? So that's a really black and white frame of mind. It's just not true. It's like the reason why the world is like this is because, 7 billion people think like that. So, no, is my answer to that. So, that's another thing to keep in mind. I mentioned this in the 3 about sense of humor, but I really do think that this can be applied to the 8 as well, and that is, it's really important to laugh. It's really important to laugh at stuff while this crazy roller coaster of an existence that you may be having. And that is another way to keep your mental health in check throughout all that, so that you don't fall into paranoia and you don't become the person that you're not meant to be, which is a victim. You're meant to be the executive. Always remember that. The artistic activity that I chose for the 8 is cooking. And that's where I think the best way our physical realm interacts with our artistic abilities. Not just because this is a very physical thing that we're creating, this a very physical piece of art that we're creating, but we then eat it and it becomes a part of our physical body because we are what we eat. And so then you get to not only enjoy making it, seeing what happens to it as a visual experience, but then you get to physically take that into your body, and it's a very beautiful divine communion with the physical world. If you think about it on a very spiritual level, paradoxically, since, the 7 we already talked about, the ethereal plane, now we're talking about the physical plane. But, I do think the 8 would very much enjoy cooking, as they get to eat it as well afterwards. So the 8's appreciation for the finer things in life and high quality things and experiences, this will impact your career choices in a number of ways. I think that the 8's would make great interior designers, great bakers, because they get to decorate the cakes, fashion designers. Think Cindy Crawford, essentially. And Cindy Crawford is actually an 8 life path. I think they'd also make great wedding planners, CEO, which I already mentioned, a lawyer, anything legal services as well. Or, last but not least, a financial advisor. If you do have a creative side to you and you're an 8 life path, I have no doubt that you'll somehow make your creative outlet into a business that you manage, and then get other people involved, get other collaborative efforts involved, and then you'll be the manager of that situation as well. So before I forget, some keywords for the 8 life path is administration, finance, material, power, manifestation, judgment, duality, success, and abundance. My best advice for the 8, just to close it up, is that you should avoid the deceptions of what is considered successful, as well as what it is about your material possessions that give it value, if that makes any sense. Is it valuable because that's what everyone else wants? Or is it valuable because you earned it through hard work, perseverance, and taking responsibility of your life? Is it valuable because you stuck through it and were able to build your own kingdom, build your own life, build the life that you wanted? Other people and society's conditioned norms are not what gets to decide what has value in your life, period. You get to decide what is most important in your life because you're the executive. And never forget that you are the captain of your life. It's really that simple. I could go into so many minor details for each life path, but I really think this is the one life path where I could just say one sentence and it sums it all up. You are the captain of your soul, you're the captain of your life, and just make it happen. You will get through whatever experience that you face, and on the other side of any traumas that you experience, you will come back with tenfold, with more joy, happiness, money, whatever, than you've ever had before. And if you heed this advice, you will find yourself where you're meant to be. And I cannot tell you where you're meant to be, unfortunately. That will be your own divine plan. and it's not something that I can predict with numerology. So as always, thank you so much for watching. If you would like a report with me, please visit the link in the description. It will take you to my Etsy account, which will have a listing for a reading which includes a PDF documents as well as an hour-and-a-half session with me online. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. As always, please like this video, comment, and subscribe, and share it with any life paths that you may know. And the next video will be on the 9, which is the last number in the series, and I'm very excited to be wrapping it up and having this be whole on my channel now. Hope you're all having a great day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And until next time, guys, take care.